So a big shakeout for BTC on Friday, Saturday. We got absolutely rinsed. All the bulls got taken out once again. Is this now the potential bottom? What is my plan for the week? Well, I suspect we're potentially going to have quite a bullish week. So I want to give you guys my trading plan and my various scenarios that I've worked on BTC here, because I think we're going to be okay this week. We got a couple of altcoins that hit their buy zones that I gave you guys last week. We're going to update Sol. We're going to update Ďuke. We're going to update Pendle, RUNE. And I've got PopCat for you. I've also got 𝗔𝗢𝗓𝗕 here in the back with a setup for you guys. So there's so much happening here on Sunday. Let's get right into this. And do I even know? I mean, do I even need to say this? I think you know exactly what I'm going to say. There he is. Can we say something without saying it?
Treat the like button like Michael Jackson. Just beat it.
We said it. We said it. There he is. The likes bouncer. Here's our VIP. I've dragged him out of the Sniper Club. He's our 𝗣𝗢𝗡𝗏 competition champion trader. And he's got a setup for you guys today. So I've got him out of his cage. He's ready to go. And look at this banter bubbles. I mean, these guys, they play with our hearts all day long. I mean, we were green. We were bearish. Now Sui, 9%. AVAX has come alive again. Core, interesting. We're talking about that one today. And layer ones, Phantom, ADA, dare we talk about that thing doing something. And Ton has come alive again. So look, it is the weekend. Let's not get too euphoric. Let's not get too excited when we see a couple of green candles. But let's dive in. Let's look at BTC on the 4 hour here. Let's look at the current scenario. And then I'm actually going to dive in a lot deeper for you guys. I've got 15-minute setups on BTC, and I've got a daily setup on BTC. This is going to give you a plan that you guys can work with in the next 24 hours and maybe see what the potential strategy is going to be. So right now, what are we looking at here? BTC on the 4 hour, look at this thing of absolute beauty. Dips into a 786 fib. You can't make this stuff up. Look at that little reaction there. 52,000, what did we call it? 52,548. Okay, we were close. I was calling lows 52s and things like that, but pretty close. Okay, so nice little landing there for BTC and a strong reaction now this weekend so far. But where are our danger zones? So currently watching 55,000, danger zone number 1. You can see why this is a zone of interest. Look at that, nice little horizontals there. If we do get a push up, big danger zone here for me, 55K. I'm going to show you this one in detail on a lower time frame in a couple of minutes. So look out here. Okay, no euphoria zone, 55K. Be super careful in that zone. If we do get a little bit more strength now leading into tomorrow, 57K, big zone for me, 57,200. Mark that one on your charts. This was previous big support for us. Look at that big support zone. And we have fibbage here in the way. So 57,200 zone, big area for me. And then really, I mean, we're going to be we're going to be euphoric up here at 60K. Okay. Just remember, we're going to need level heads if we do push up into a region like that. But 60K, that for me is another massive rejection zone. So upside, guys, you are covered now. Okay. 55K, danger zone, 57,200, 60,200. These are big zones for me. And then on the 4 hour time frame, what can we be watching as potential support? Well, the best thing you're going to do here is start looking at the wick lows. So quite often after these dumps, we know the drill. They like to dump us, come back, take out the wicks. Look at this. Dump us, come back, take out the wicks. Dump us, come back, take out the wicks. We're in a downtrend. Okay, so it makes sense that we could get a scenario like that. Just send it back down. So I'm watching first zone here, support 52,300. Watch that area, 52,300. A little bit lower down, 50,700. So these are now the downside zones you need to be watching leading into tomorrow. Now, naturally, anything can happen after that, but watch these areas closely. That is my current plan. Now, before we get into some lower timeframes and things like that and give you a full strategy, let's just take a look at what is going on out there in the world. And this fear and greed index, I mean, this thing, and I've spoken about this many times on my show. When this thing hits low 20s, it often signals that there is some kind of short-term bounce coming. And you can see yesterday, historical values, we hit 23 yesterday on that fear and greed. Now we have had a nice little bounce, currently sitting at 29. But basically, everyone is scared. Okay, that's the bottom line. People are absolutely shitting themselves. And I am running a poll at the moment. And I wanted to see your sentiment. Look at this. Drop this, answer this poll for me in the chats. Long this week, 60% are still bullish. and 40% bearish. Okay, well, keep going. I want to see these votes coming through. We want to gauge your sentiment here and just see how you guys are feeling out there. But I mean, bar chart is dropping some super bearish news here. Look at this. Crypto sees weekly outflow of $600 billion, the second largest weekly outflow in history. I mean, that's not very bullish. Okay, but all while that is happening, okay, some absolute legend is buying 500 BTC at a time, according to 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 here. And look at this guy. What a so this guy obviously knows something that you don't. Okay, remember the deal. If you're selling your BTC, guys like this are buying it from you. Guys like Michael Saylor, they're just lapping it up. They are taking it. You do not want to be capitulating at these type of levels here. And this guy buying 500 BTC at a time, he obviously knows something that we don't. Okay, so don't be the guy that sells on these wicks all the time with BTC. Other guys are just lapping it up. What does 𝗦𝗔𝗠𝗘𝗔𝗏 say? Dildo, Glido, Lord of Entry, thanks for the sauce. There's always sauce for you, bro. And it's not the first time I've been called dildo either, so that's also okay. Okay, here's another nice little tweet for you guys. Wrecked Capital, okay? Bitcoin is in a halving here, so it makes most sense to compare 2024 with previous halving years. Okay, fair comment. So what has he shown us? 2016 and 2020. Bitcoin enjoyed 3 straight months of upside across October, November, December. Okay, look at that. He's highlighted it beautifully for you. And I mean, that's bull source, if there ever was. And, again, this plays into my theory. Like, the worst could be over this week. I do suspect we are going to start teeing up now, and the pain has to end. But we've got a massive week ahead here for us. This is a huge week. This is the 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 letter telling us what is going down this week. Okay, OPEC monthly report, that's oil business. Then we've got August CPI data, that's coming out on Wednesday. Generally a major market mover. Right now, everybody is taking bets. Is it going to be a 25 basis point cut or a 50 basis point cut? So this CPI data is going to have an effect on the market. Okay, I suspect it's not going to be as bad as it has been in the past, but I suspect it's going to be a market mover for us. Jobless claims, you guys know, market mover. August PPI, market mover. And it's all happening. This is the final week of inflation data before the long anticipated September Fed meeting. Now, we all know, okay, that they're going to cut rates. The question is the market going to be happy if they cut 25, or is the market going to be happy if they cut 50, or are they just going to dump this thing once they do? So that is now it's a wait and see. And Tom says Fed officially enters into the blackout period tomorrow. So no more Fed speakers until the FOMC in 2 weeks' time. So it just builds the suspense, okay, builds the drama. And while all this is happening, the S&P is falling over. And I actually can't believe that this was such a simple looking trade here, a little double top on the S&P. Who would have suspected that these guys would have let this thing fall over with something as simple as a double top in play? This has taken me by surprise. I really thought they would come and rinse some guys out first. But what I suspect is now happening, the shorts are now building up. Okay, and there's going to be a squeeze. Okay, so what I've done here for the S&P for you guys is I've highlighted key zones. Okay, where is this thing going to bounce? Not necessarily bottom to print all-time highs, but where could we get a strong bounce out of the S&P? So I've looked at this thing carefully here. 5,380, hot zone number 1. Look at this. This is a huge zone here. 5,380. If we bounce here tomorrow, okay, crypto, I think is going to start ripping. So 5,380, strong zone for me. Another massive zone, 5,322. Look at this guy. We got our 618 and we've got our big horizontals here. So that's a huge zone, 5,322. And then really, are they really going to send this thing to 5,230? But if they do, okay, that's another huge bounce zone. One of these areas is going to be where everything just reverses, and it reverses hard. So watch these areas closely. I suspect we might be surprised tomorrow. We've got the 100-day moving average here, 5,380, looking like a hot zone here, looking like an area where we could get some kind of bounce. And then another chart that I'm watching closely, which often has an effect on, obviously, the S&P as a whole. But we know crypto also loves NVIDIA. And look at this chart. It's now been melting down and it's nearly in my box. Okay, we're nearly in the zone here on NVIDIA. We are close. If you're looking for NVIDIA trades, look at this 95 region. Anything into this box for me looking super bounceable here on this NVIDIA situation. So if you have access to something that can trade NVIDIA, okay, take a look. Anything from 96 down to about 93. Hot little zone here for me, backed up by the 200-day moving average as well, just pushing just below this 90 level. So NVIDIA looking bouncy, okay? It's coming. S&P looking bouncy. I've given you these levels. It's coming. And I suspect that's going to tie into BTC because look at this. And we've got Caleb France dropping. He said it's the 4th daily close below the regression channel. The last time it did this, May 1st, July 7th, August 5th. After each case, price rallied at least 20% in the coming weeks. Okay, so again, not calling the bottom, yeah, but calling a potential bounce on BTC based on the S&P, based on NVIDIA, based on this chart that we are looking at right here. This could be teeing us up for something this week. And 𝗦𝗡𝗟𝗏 coming with some Wyckoff vibes. And he's telling us we've now hit the spring phase on BTC. So look, if this Wyckoff theory plays through, this makes sense. Okay, we are near a bottom here after that sell-off. And then Axel has told us that the RSI on the 14-day that he's watching, okay, he's watching the 14-day RSI. So he's saying this has dropped to its lowest level since July this year, with a similar situation in September 23. Now, you all remember what happened in September 23. Things turned super bearish, and then all of a sudden, like that, rocket time, okay? And October, things really did start picking up for us. So watching this one, interesting little graph here, interesting little chart that he's dropped here for us, and a couple of signs that are small, short-term little bounce. And I mean, are we on the same page here, sir?
We are on the same page.
We are on the same page. Now, you're going to hear from this man, okay? This guy has got a setup for you, okay? And he's been talking about this to the Sniper Club guys for quite a while now. And hopefully they got a piece of this one already. So he's coming in hot, subject to likes, okay? Where's our like bouncer? There he is.
We need to
obviously a relaxing Sunday.
Step up the likes. We need to step up the likes.
You need to step up the likes. Step up the likes. Okay, let's get into some more BTC
and join
things.
Sniper Club. Link in the description.
There you go. There you go. Okay, BTC on the 4-hour, we've covered that. Some key levels there. You know what to do. Now, let's look at the short term. What are we doing now in the next 4 hours while you're sitting at your barbecue, while you're sitting on your couch, watching Netflix or whatever the hell you guys are doing, and you're itching for some trades, you're checking your phone? What are you guys going to do? Well, look at this liquidation heat map on the 24-hour, and we can see a hot little pocket here, round about 55,000, okay? Hot little zone. Who just said that, Ray? Bring that chat back up. Bring that chat back up. What was that?
Yeah, they're talking about David. We need to bring...
Thank you. I'm back.
The cute guy's back. The cute guy's back. Okay, he's back, but he's only back subject to likes. Okay, so hot little zone here for you guys, 55K. That is what we're watching to the upside. Okay, you can see it's a hot little pocket here. If they do push this thing, 55K looks interesting. How do we do that? How do we get here? So what I've got here for you guys is a 15-minute absolute degen chart. Okay, what we need to look at here is a couple of scenarios. That 55K, I was looking for tie-in a little bit earlier. Look at this. We've got a 618 rejection zone, and we've got a pivot area here, the lows from a previous dump here on Friday, that first little dump that they gave us. So for me, if we do get a push up here and take out that liquidity, bang, that could be a nice little rejection zone for us. That could be where they start sending this down, okay? We're looking for them to send it down, but we want to get this bought up naturally with a potential higher low in play here. So what does that look like? Well, we're going to have to wait and see if the price does push up into that region, but I suspect you could have a little scalp situation. You could have a little scalp short there playing out for you guys in that type of region. So watch this area closely, okay? If they come for a little liquidity hunt, could be a little scalp here, about a 0.5% risk that you could play for. And then you're going to look for a push down, most likely just to come take out some of these lows here. And what we do is you're going to pull your fib up, okay? As this price starts moving higher, you're going to drag this fib up with it to try and get a gauge as to where the price could potentially go, okay? Once you do know where this thing has reversed, you are going to get some levels that you can play with on BTC, and that's going to give you some potential zones where you can come back and then get your bounce. So wherever that could potentially be. So just remember, you want to drag your fibs up as the price moves higher. Make sure you get some tie-in, some nice confluence and things like that. Look for tie-in with fibs on these type of levels, okay? If you get tie-in there, they give it a little bit more strength and things like that. So potential short-term little scalp here for you guys. I think, okay, if we're going to have a bullish week, whatever sell-off they give us, they're going to be short-lived. Okay, I don't think we're gonna print new lows. Put it that way. That is ideally what I'm after naturally. And look, if they do want to typically come and take out a 618, or they do want to typically come and take out a 786 fib and things like that. So on this lower time frame, we can't say right now that they won't come to 53K. Okay, watch that area as well. That is potential zone here. It's a potential hit zone. Look at this wick here. You'll see on the 4 hour, this is a pure wick here that they might want to come and play some games with. So watch this little region to these lows. Okay, so 53K, and then naturally watch the lows. Okay, we don't really want to print new lows after that dump, but that is the current plan there on the 15 minutes. And then the daily, guys, look at this absolute perfection. How did this thing drop into this 54 level? And we had this thing teed up from last week. And just to remember, why was this a hot zone for me? We had our horizontals here. We had our descending trend. Look at that beautiful descending trend here on BTC. And we had our big 786 fib pool. So there were 3 levels of confluence here for us, telling us why we could get a reaction in that zone. And that did exactly what these things did. Now, remember, we use these levels of confluence to give us confidence to look for positions in these types of zones. And when you get 3 big things like this tying in together, you more than likely, get some kind of reaction in those areas. So this 52,400 level that we marked last week, absolute perfection here. Downtrend, horizontals in play, and 786. So what are we looking at now? Well, I would say, look, I don't want to say worst case, but we need to understand on the daily time frame, there is a potential that we do come a little bit lower now. We haven't dealt with this wick properly. Look at this beautiful wick here from that original dump on the 5th of August, a huge little wick here. And what I can see potentially playing out, scenario number 1, we get a little bit of upside here, and then they send us down to double bottom on this 52K region. Okay, scenario number 1 on the daily. And if they really want to get brutal with us, they come and take out this wick. Now, this 50,300 is a big level for me. 50,300, big level of interest here. And that'll pretty much deal with that wick. And if we do get there, well, then I'm calling the bottom. Okay, I'm calling the bottom till at least January. Okay, if we hit this 50,300. Okay, Dave, agree or disagree?
I agree. I think being bearish at these levels is kind of not a good idea.
Counterintuitive. Yes. Okay, so for me, if we hit this 5,300, I'm saying that's the bottom, at least until we push till the end of the year. Okay, that's the game plan. And then upside again on the daily for us, 50,800. That's a big one. You can see on the daily, this was a previous hot zone for us there as support, and 58,800. Now, if we do push higher, that's an interesting rejection zone here on the daily. And what is 𝗏𝗏𝗜𝗏 talking about here? What's he going on about here, Ray? What's bothering Adam? Okay, one more thing.
To see a 50K Bitcoin.
Nobody wants to see a 50K Bitcoin. I definitely don't want to see a 50K Bitcoin, I can assure you. Okay, let's talk altcoins. And one of them is Total 3. What is Total 3? It's the crypto market excluding Bitcoin, excluding ETH. So it's all the shit coins, okay? All your favorite shit coins except ETH and BTC. And this is Total 3 on the 3-day. And we are still looking like we could approach both of these regions. Both regions can make sense here. So if we do get a push higher, looking for a rejection at this 580 to 590 zone. So again, we cannot get euphoric until we start breaking these type of trends. Look how strong this trend is at the moment. So if we do push into that zone, look out, 580, 590, maybe get this chart out when the market's turning a little bit green, you're feeling a little bit excited, you're looking at your P&L, get this chart out and say, okay, where am I on this 3-day picture chart? Where's a possible rejection zone? For me, 580 to 590, that is a danger zone that you're looking at. And then if the market is falling over, okay, altcoins dumping, everything's falling over, 480 for me, huge bounce area. Okay, 618 in play, big horizontals. This is a big zone, 480. So things start falling over. James, what are you doing here? He wants to send us to 42K. He's turning into a massive bear at the moment. So Total 3, 480 to the downside. Look for a bounce there. Okay, all altcoins, wherever they are sitting, corresponding altcoins, that's a big bounce there for me. Any move to the upside, 580 to 590, danger zone there for us on some of these tokens. So let's just be careful up there. And then let's talk about ETH. Okay, we're going to talk about SOL. We're going to talk about Dupe. We're We're going to talk about Dave's setup. We're going to talk about Pendle, Popcat, a couple of others, and I want some of your tokens as well. And we want to tee you guys up for the week. So Ray's going to get us 1 or 2 of your tokens now, okay, that me and Dave can quickly look at for you guys. So let's tee you up, Dave. And Ray, will you just monitor the chats there and try and grab some tokens for us? Okay, let's look at ETH. So this was me on Twitter. Follow me on Twitter at the Lord of Entry, okay? And I started upping my chart game here for you guys. I'm dropping a little bit more chart alpha for you guys on my Twitter. So give it a follow, and hopefully you'll get some of these. This was the ETH chart that I dropped on Friday. I said this is looking like the 2,100 level. And, I was saying, what you going to do at these prices? And this guy here says he's going to ape and he's going to buy. Mayo, I hope you bought. Denny Oza, I hope you guys bought. I hope you aped, okay? Because what did ETH do? It came bang into our zone, 2,100. It was like an absolute magnet, this little area. So what do we do with ETH now, okay? There is so much bearish news going around for ETH. And this thing has performed really badly. But all I can say here is ETH bros, okay? Myself included. I'm also ETH bro, okay? 2,100 for me, a massive level. I was saying it's difficult to call this a bottom, okay? But it's difficult to not call this a bottom leading into October, November, December. So what I'm watching here, any move to the downside, I want to see 2,100 hold. This has been a level I've been talking about for weeks from this initial dump. We've now finally close this out. Remember the story. We get the dump, and no matter how long it takes, how often do they come back and fill those wicks? Sometimes you forget about it and they come back and they kill you. And 2,100, that has now been hit. That has now been filled. For me, that's a current bottom here leading into October, November, December. If we lose that trend, this market is wrecked. Okay, if we lose that trend, these altcoins are getting smashed. And it's not necessarily a scenario we want to be dealing with. So right now, ETH 2,100, and then some bearish things floating around on ETH at the moment. And Ali Charts telling us whales stopped accumulating ETH in early July. Since then, they've been selling or redistributing their ETH holdings. And now we know Vitalik's also got a girlfriend. Okay, that's a problem. Maybe he's not so interested in tech anymore. He's interested in a few other things, okay? And maybe this is time. Maybe ETH is getting a little bit sad. But all we can do is watch the charts, okay? All we have here is the charts. We have the levels, and we know 2,100, massive zone. We start closing under 2,100. Market as a whole is looking filthy, and we're going to have to reassess where we are when that happens. So ETH traders, you're okay for now. Okay, and upside targets for you, 2,800. That's your no euphoria zone. So if we do push up into that area, take some profits there. Okay, look for the sells. 2,800, 2,900 could be a danger area there for any ETH traders. Okay, Sol, we're not going to harp on why we were liking the Sol trade. Again, we're moving into breakpoint. You guys know the drill now. Multiple percentage moves into breakpoint every year. And Sol naturally was one on my radar, and also on Dave's radar as well. And Dupe was another one of our favorites that we've been talking about. And if you watched my show on Friday, very importantly, I gave you guys tons of areas of interest. I gave you guys tons of entries. I covered so many tokens. I think we covered RUNE as well. We covered Pendle. These things all hit massive areas. So hopefully, if you guys were watching the show on Friday, I hope you guys got some entries. I grabbed some Sol. I grabbed some Dupe in these areas. And you can see Sol 121. This was our hot zone that we were looking at. It was a 786. It was horizontals. It was anything from 122 to 120 that I was looking at. And they actually dipped it slightly further, but it was a quick little wick. What did they hit? I think on some exchanges, they actually went sub 120. This was 120 on the button here. And exactly 120 on Sol on Binance. Okay. And nice little reaction here. So what are we watching now? Sol traders, ideally, we want to start reclaiming this area, make our way up to 137. Okay, when we get to 137, we deal with it there. Potential rejection there or potential rejection at 146. But right now for me, we've had a strong bounce on Sol. We have a support marker now, 120. Okay, that is your level. Sol, 120 is your level. And Vitalik DCA'd a girlfriend winning. Yeah, it looks like it. He's got rid of some ETH, got some cash, got a chick. It's going well for him. Okay, so Sol, potential downside play here. If we get weakness, your extreme downside play, 120. Okay, look for that wick fill, look for that double bottom play. On Sol, let's look for a bounce there. That is how I'm playing Sol. You can see here's my Sol trade, and my average entry is 123. And now I really want to start growing this thing. Okay, and I got chopped out of Sol twice last week chasing that big move, and we had some big pumps, but they kept coming back. And we've now grabbed this entry here. Let's see if this thing's turned super bullish. I'm going to start growing this position and start adding. And the simple game plan is, as you break through key levels, as you break through your next big horizontal level, that is where you can start adding to your positions. Remember, there's multiple ways you can play a leverage trade. Some of them, you can grab your entry, and when it pushes into a small little TP zone, you can take profits, raise your stops. If you have a strategy where you want to try and grow a trade, you can let this thing pump through big resistance zones. Every time it breaks through, you can add to your position, and you can start bringing your stop up just under those type of resistance areas that should then become support. And then if this thing gets momentum, it can really start flying. So every time we break a nice little level on Sol, I'm going to start adding to this position and try and grow this thing. And if we do get momentum, we start breaking trends, we start pushing levels like 140, 150, you're going to see the size of this position really start increasing quickly, and then we'll have some big upside targets. So hopefully some of you guys got this. In fact, let us know in the chats if you guys did get some of these entries that we gave you guys Thursday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And there were tons of them. And obviously, Sniper Club members got exposed to loads of those last week as well. So keep it going, guys. Keep watching the show. Remember, the more you watch the show, a ton of these entries I give you a couple of days before. That'll tee you up. And then when the event actually happens, I might not be online or live, but at least you know you've marked it on your charts and you're ready to go. So make sure you watch the show regularly. And again, even on 2X, I don't mind if you watch me on 2X. I talk super fast. And the music's a little bit fast, but do it. Get it and get your levels, get everything set up for you guys. Here is Sol on the 15 minutes. Here's the DGen chart now for you guys. What do you do? How do you sculpt?
Also, all the charts are in Sniper Club.
There you go.
All the charts
Sniper
are in Sniper Club.
All these charts are in Sniper Club. A lot of these DGen setups and things you see are live charts that I drop in Sniper Club every single day. And what, bro? Come on. I told you guys I'm wearing this white cap until the market bounces properly. When the market bounces properly, I'm putting the black cap on. Okay, let's not digress. Go. Solana on the 15 minutes. Key levels now. Okay, if we're going to get a medium-sized pullback today, leading into, say, Asia session, that's going to be for buying, where are we going to buy this thing? Well, first zone, 127. Okay, that's a hot zone for me. Mark this on your charts. First potential bounce zone. Next area here for me, 124.4. Okay, there's a nice little area there, 124.4. That is a 618 fib. Okay, that's a potential scalper buy zone for you guys as well. And then I've got the big one here, the 786 at 122.7. Okay, so scalpers, if you didn't get a Sol position, okay, these are your levels. This is where you're looking for scalps. This is where you're looking to try and grab a position here. If you are bullish biased that we're going to print higher lows, okay, if you believe we're going to print higher lows, your best entries are going to be 126.9, 124.4, 122.7. Those are your scalper levels. Those are your scalper zones. So if you get a sell-off here, don't panic. Wait for these areas. Then you can start clipping off in these type of areas. Okay, so that is teed up for Sol. And then use this chart for your upside targets. You can see where they are, 137, 147. Both of those are nice little upside targets. Then dupe, we nailed that dupe entry. And I told you guys we were waiting for this dupe. The whole of last week we were watching this dupe chart. So we finally got a little piece of dupe here. My average entry is 0.67. And hopefully some of you guys got it. Okay, this was our game plan on dupe. Looking for a dip into these lows. Nailed that thing. Pinged it beautifully there. And so what did it hit? 0.66. It smashed. Average entry 0.67. You can see bigger picture what we're looking for here. Okay, simple little game plan. You can see we've got a downtrend in play here on dupe. And look, any moves into these type of areas here, we can trade with caution. Naturally, once this thing gets a little bit of momentum, we can obviously tighten up stops and things like that. But if we start drifting into that type of zone, 77, I would be cautious there. Anyone that got this dupe entry with me, 77, look out there, potential rejection in that zone. Or ultimately, if we do turn super bullish here, there's a short that we have earmarked for you guys. Look at this. We've got our downside play here. This is our short marker here. So 0.875, somewhere in that region could be a potential short play on dupe once this thing starts ripping. So dupe traders, you're cooking now, 0.66. Hopefully you got some of that. Let's see. And stop can be just under those lows now. If we do get some momentum, we expect the market print some higher lows there and then start pushing on. Then RUNE, this was another banger, and I mean, this is just fibs working to perfection again here for us. I did drop this one on Twitter last week on Friday. I said there's a short-term bounce coming, and this short-term bounce actually just went under TP2 for us. We actually took out TP1. I told the sniper clubs, raise your stops, all those things. We just missed TP2 on RUNE before the reversal, and then I gave the bigger picture play. I said, if we're going to dump here today, this is where we're looking for longs. It was the 3.3 region that we were looking at there on RUNE. And just to show you guys, I do believe I covered this one on the show, but look at this. Something so simple here. Again, anybody can pull a fib. Okay, it's a simple little game plan here. We're pulling fibs on high time frames. Oh, look at that. That's amazing. And you pull fibs on these high time frames, and then you get these strong reactions in these zones. So just take a look at this RUNE situation here. Perfect little dip into a 618 fib and a massive horizontal. That is always going to tell you that you're going to get some kind of reaction in that area. Look at this bounce off this 3.3. I mean, this was perfection off this region here. I love it when these 618s behave like this. And total bounce here of 8.8% just from a 618 fib. So RUNE still looking good now. If you are sitting in RUNE, this thing is cooking. What I would suggest here for you, you can see we've got quite a strong candle on the 12 hour. So you can use current support, 3.52. Use 3.52 as your current support. Then alternatively, you're going to use 3.3 as your support marker lower down. So things looking great for RUNE now at the moment. Upside target 3.8. Now we know this thing is super volatile. When the market turns nice and bullish, RUNE is a great trade. It's a great long position to be in. It almost behaves like some of these meme coins sometimes. The way this thing moves. I see hang
but can we behave with the likes though? Can we get the likes up so we can get David on?
Guys, I can't bring this. This man's got a setup. Okay, I've taken him out of his cage. Sniper Club. He's got a setup.
He could just wait till the Zoom.
He's even got his moustache. He's even got his moustache ready for you guys. Okay, I see Hang Tens is sending us to 80 on Sol. He says Sheldon's sending us to 80 on Sol. We're gonna have to have a chat tomorrow because if Sol's going to 80, this market is getting wrecked, and we don't really want to see that. So let's see how Sol goes. You know, you've got your supports here that we can play with. Okay, it's almost Dave time. Let's see what else I got for you. So 𝗠𝗎, everybody is talking about 𝗠𝗎 at the moment. It's we can't decide. Is this from influencers pumping it, from talking it so much? Is it a squeeze from all the shorts that we had previously, or is it the tech? Are we in it for the tech? And it's a tricky one to decide. Why is this thing moving? And all I can say is we can read the chart and we know there's tons of 𝗠𝗎 strength, okay? And if something has got a ton of strength, what we can do is try and jump on the bandwagon, and we can go. If everybody's dancing around 𝗠𝗎, we can start looking for entries around 𝗠𝗎. So the first thing I want to give to you guys is the 12-hour time frame. Okay, so you can see what's going on here with 𝗠𝗎. We've got a big little bull flag. Look at this thing. Big bull flag here on 𝗠𝗎. And it's really respecting this thing pretty nicely at the moment. So you can see we are at a current rejection zone. So if we are playing 𝗠𝗎 on the 12-hour, big support here for me, 8343. Look at this. I've got the anchored VWAP. I've got the 100-day moving average. I've got a 618, and I've got the 50-day MA. This is a massive, massive area here for 𝗠𝗎. So 8343. If you do get weakness here, there's a big bounce coming here for me, 8343. So look out for that. Could be a nice opportunity because 𝗠𝗎 is now showing tons more relative strength than other altcoins. Okay, so if the market now dips later today, 𝗠𝗎 might give you a nice little buy zone, and then I expect it to recover pretty quickly there. So look out on 𝗠𝗎 on the 12-hour, those levels. And then I've dialed in for you guys. This is 𝗠𝗎 on the 1 hour. I wanted to give you some scalper setups. And you can see I'm using MDX Trend Master here. And it actually printed the exact top. Look at this thing. It gave a white X print here at the exact top on SUI. So if you are watching this with MDX Algo, you would see as that white X printed, it printed a reversal. Look at it. It's done it here before. Reversal there. Look at that. Reversal here at the lows. Look at this one. Short little reversal, but then pumped. Okay, so we've got a couple of examples here where this white X has worked. So this thing has now sent this down using MDX Trendmaster. And what am I looking at? Potential scalper zones for you guys. So look here, if we start drifting lower, where's my first region of interest? Look at this, 8923. Look for a little action here. 0.8923 on SUI. That could be a nice little bullish bounce zone for you guys. 0.8923. Then a little bit lower down into this big cluster that I've given you now on the 12-hour time frame. Look at this, dead center, 8345. So if we do bleed out a little bit more on this thing, you're looking at about 8345. That for me is the next hot zone on SUI. So I think if we get weakness here, 8923, sniff around here, look for a reaction. You can see we got our rising trend in play. It's all looking good here. It's all teeing up quite nicely here for a bullish bounce. So 8923, a little bit lower down, 8345 is what you guys are looking at. Okay, and nearly done. Scallop. Okay, this piece of shit. Okay, now you guys.
We're back.
Well, I didn't know. Okay, I didn't know guys hated scallops so much. All I did last night on Friday was say, okay, SUI is pumping. Cool. So what could pump with SUI? And we know about the Aave on SUI is scallop. Okay, so I just said, guys, here's a scallop thing. It's looking interesting. You can see it's green. It's pumping. And some of the guys in the chats were like, fuck, this thing is terrible.
Good call. Good call, bro. Good call.
But it's green. Okay, so just to cover a scallop one more time. You can see we've had a nice little move here, and this is a SUI project. Okay, so right now scallop is still at resistance. Okay, but I suspect once this thing pops, okay, this thing's going to start grinding a little bit quickly. Okay, it's a 10 million market cap. It's tiny. Okay, so just be careful. But this thing's got Bybit perps. This thing's got well, it's perps on Bybit, and you can buy it on all these exchanges. So this is quite an old token, I believe, but it could be a mover. Okay, so again, just don't be reckless with this thing. But you can see there's something happening here, and with the SUI strength, I think naturally this thing could be moving. So apologies, guys, if you didn't like scallop. I'll keep that in mind that you guys hate this thing. And okay, let's go. I got two more for you, and then we're bringing on Dave. I've got Ton. And Ton hit our entry zone. So I gave you guys this level on Friday. I think I said to you guys 4.4. It was a simple little game plan. It was a 618 fib, 4.4. That was the region we were watching. Look at this thing, a little wick into that zone. Beautiful little bounce there for us. Look at this thing, perfect on the 618. And now Ton is in this little channel. Okay, so it is looking a little bit interesting. So what I would say here, for guys interested in Ton, you guys know this thing is starting to sort itself out. This guy's got released. He's agreed to make a few changes for the EU to Telegram and things like that. So he's making changes. He's kind of being agreeable. And, you know, Tom's got a massive network. They've got 1 billion people or whatever the story is. And he doesn't want to lose it over an argument with the French. So he's making the changes he needs to make. Okay. For me, in a bullish market, I'm looking for Ton. We break this thing. I think you've got an entry here if we start breaking this trend. And then we're sending this thing. And then I think we've got short opportunities brewing here on Ton. So look for a break of this descending trend. Okay, you can see this this channel here. If we start breaking this descending channel, there could be an entry here for you guys. There could be a bullish move coming on Ton. Okay, so be patient. 4.86. 4.9, somewhere in there. If we start breaking those levels, start printing new highs in these areas here, there could be a sign that Ton is going to start grinding higher. Okay, then you've got targets 5.9, you've got targets 6.2, and then you've got your short opportunities when this thing turns super bullish. Now these are hot zones here for bears. Okay, bears, remember, put your alarms on. 6.2, 5.9, hot zones. Okay, potential short zones here for you guys. Right now, the bulls, you're in charge now. Okay, if you're looking for a move, let this thing break this trend over here, 4.9 type region. Then you can start pushing this thing higher up. Your support, 4.4. Watch that region, 4.4. We've had a nice little bounce off that now as support. Let this thing play out. Let it break this trend, and let's see if we get a bit of a move. What is Daniel saying? He said, "Dit kak." Marat, what are you talking about, Jim, bro? I'm South African. These other people watching, they aren't South African. They don't understand. They don't understand what he's talking about. Okay, let's bring our champion here. The man has got a trade for us. So, okay.
Yes, good to be here.
Give us the juice. Give us the juice. Give us the juice. I'm sure we got enough likes. Is that right, sir?
All right. Well, it's good to be back. Can you guys see my screen there?
Yes.
All right. So, going to give you guys a nice juicy setup here. Been watching this thing for quite a while, and it was pretty interesting to see that at the Bitcoin conference, they actually had a stand. There was a lot of people there, and I had traded this token prior to meeting the team, but after meeting the team, became very bullish on this. And one of the guys said, hey, whenever Bitcoin dumps, this token typically dumps. When Bitcoin pumps, it's usually follows it. That's all I know about how the price action goes. So he wasn't a TA guy, but I took that. And, you know, as we've had this bleed out session with Bitcoin, Core has definitely had a nice retracement. And it's interesting to see Bitcoin up 0.45% today and Core up 5% today. So that's given me the initial signal that this thing is probably bottomed out. I've got the daily time frame loaded up here, and so been tracking this momentum line that goes as far back as November of last year. And you can see once
zoom in a bit for us. Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
No,
So I've got another chart here to kind of zoom in here, but you can see that when we kissed the momentum line here in March, we had a 700+% move or 670% move to the upside. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but I also feel like we've kind of bottomed out here in Bitcoin, generally speaking, right? Whether it's 53, 52, 50, whatever the case may be. And so zooming in now, okay, we have kissed the momentum line and we've had this nice little 5% move on the weekend. I do believe that Asia is probably going to want their long entries. So I do think, typically weekend lows get taken out. I think there'll be some kind of pullback on Core. I don't know how far down, whether it's the 382. And you can see with that fib pull from the absolute low from Friday to where we are at now, we've literally pinged the 382 perfectly right here. So whether we come back down and hit the 382 or we kind of come down to the sniper zone, I think this is the low. I think this is the stop. So my goal here is paying attention to how Asia opens, starting a position here and adding more down here. And the whole goal is to catch the big move. And I think that the move could be pretty substantial. I would recommend low leverage if you're going to play the leverage game on this guy. And then as we get confirmation towards the upside, that's where you can increase your leverage. You can add more size. But the target is, basically up to the sniper zone here. We're looking at a 60% move ultimately. Where the 200-day MA is. We're probably going to see some turbulence here, at the anchored VWAP and also the 50-day MA. But ultimately, I think, we're going to kind of dance around a bit and find our way towards the upside, especially if Bitcoin has generally bottomed out. So if we start heading up to 60K or whatever the case may be, I think this guy is going to be a huge mover. So there's a lot of good fundamentals behind this guy. So I'd recommend you guys do your own research. But as far as TA goes and where we're at right now, I mean, look, we're at a daily order block. Okay, when we're using Lux Algo and we're using the daily, these are high conviction zones, and we're at the bottom of the block. And when you have an order block with less green, that's good support. When you have more green right here, that's generally like a weak resist or a weak support. So where we're at right now, it just looks amazing to me. At 30%, 36%.
Nice, bro. So, looking good. Looking good. So core, nice BTC play as well. And look, I've taken one or two of these core trades that David's dished out, and this thing does know how to rip. Just remember, you can have multiple strategies when opening a position. And David's strategy is saying ladder in on these two areas that he's given you. He's given you two zones. As long as your conviction is that BTC holds the lows and that core is going to print a higher low, then you can build your position in that area. Just understand where your exit zones are and understand your risk. Understand if you are trading big leverage, and work out, what it's going to cost you to buy on that 382. How much is it going to be down when it hits that 618? Make sure you balance your leverage correctly and your margin and grow that position there. Dave, that looks like a banger, bro.
Yeah, and here's another cool thing too, is a lot of people ask me, hey, why do you use 𝗧𝗏𝗏𝗏? Well, I'm on 𝗧𝗏𝗏𝗏 on the daily. And typically when you have the first green after a series of red, there's a high probability, especially where we're at with Bitcoin, that the next series of candles are going to be green, kind of like what we saw here, So that's another thing I'm looking at too, and that's why I have a lot of conviction in this trade. So
nice, bro. Guys, Sniper Club members, you're gonna have a taste of both of us just now. Dave and I are doing a live Sniper Club session always after my Sunday show. We do a live Sniper Club session for the members. We tee everyone up for the weekend. David brings tons of these. I bring tons of mine, and we tee it up. We've got a beautiful community in there. We have a laugh. We play some music. And it's a chilled way to spend your Sunday. So Dave's going to be prepping for that now. He's bouncing. Dave, thanks, bro. And I love your cave. I mean, I'm loving these. You like my cave? Yeah, my lights. I think we just need to get you more lights in the back there.
Yes, sir. I'll do. Thanks
for having me. Looking good. Okay, so if you want some more of this man, okay, there's a link in the description for Sniper Club. Jump in there. Come hang out with us just now. We are going live shortly. And one of you guys was asking in the chats for 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏. And this thing, I still got tons of 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏. Okay, it looks like it's bottoming out. They're still producing banging content. I don't know if you guys are watching the 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 content, but it's high quality stuff that is coming out there. When the meme market jumps back, I suspect 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 jumps back. You can see this thing. They're trying to bottom this thing out. Look at this. It's sitting here around about this 60 level, 0.006. That sort of region. It's floating around a $7 million market cap. Look at this thing. Look what it peaked at. It peaked at a $130 million market cap. It remains to be seen if it can reach those highs again in a super bullish market. If it does, it's a 1,500% gain from there. But as far as I can see here, 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, look, it can go lower. Yes. Okay. But look at this 7 million market cap, something established like this. They got their own YouTube channel. They got a massive following on Twitter as well. They're producing top quality content. Might be a bargain there at the $7 million market cap level. So that is a nice one to watch. And then I saw you guys were looking for Phantom in the chat, and I've got Popcat. Yes, I've got to give you guys Popcat. I just want to take you through this situation here at the moment. You guys know Popcat is one of my favorite tokens to trade when the market turns super bullish. And this thing really respects fibs really well. And it's an easy one to play around with on the charts, albeit very volatile. But look at this thing. When we had that dump now, okay, all you needed to do was pull a fib from the dump lows on the 5th of August to the absolute highs and then zoom in. Look at this. Look at this absolute perfection on the 618. Okay, you can't make this shit up. Okay, look at this thing. Perfect little bounce for Popcat here. That is our low marker now. That is the region that you can watch as your current support. And you can see Popcat is now under a trend. It's under 2 trends, so it's looking potentially bearish at the moment. So what I would say is, if we do get some kind of pump here, just be careful up here at this 5372 region. If we do get a strong move, there's a very good chance we can get some kind of rejection in that zone, and then we're going to be looking for our longs lower down. So just look out over here. If you do push up on Popcat, call it 5.5, anything around about 0.55, somewhere in that region, look for a rejection there. Be careful in that area. Once we pop that zone, we super bullish again. Until we break that, we need to remain a little bit bearish there on Popcat. And then I've got Phantom for you guys. Let's just rip this one quickly. See where we are. Okay, this was our previous Phantom trade, and then it came out. It came into play again. Look at this. So what did they give us? They gave us on the dump. Look at that. Spib pool from the low to the high. Look at that 618 reaction there on Phantom. So Phantom traders, you have got your support now, 364. That is your big support level you want to be watching. Let's clean this thing up here. We can tee this one up nicely here for you guys. Okay, so you've got your 618 support. If we do get weakness today, look out. Okay, a little bit of a sell-off here, but I'm expecting these support levels to hold. This 364, I'm expecting that to play out for us. So if things remain relatively bullish here, Phantom for me holds these lows, and then we start pushing higher. So Phantom traders, you can look for something along these lines here. You can put your stop under that wick low. Look for that weakness onto 364. Look for that move into that zone. If you do get it, should be a buy opportunity for you. And then you've got big targets, 42, you've got 51 ahead of you as well. So lots to wait for. Okay, just be patient out there. You don't want to be FOMOing in now. Just be careful. Zone in 15 minutes. That'll give you nice little setups. Look at the levels I've given you on some of these charts, guys. Big week ahead. I think we finished strong this week. Maybe one more flush, but I think we're going up eventually. Okay, they can't kill us forever. They can't keep us down forever. See you guys tomorrow. Later.